Welcome to the Cross Border Interviews, the show where we dive into the insights of municipal political leaders from across Canada. And our mission on this show is quite simple: shine a light on the dedicated individuals who day in and day out work around the council table to shape the communities that we call home. From February 27th to March 1st, 2025, we traveled to Yellowknife, Northwest Territories to attend the 59th Annual Northwest Territories Association of Communities Conference. While there, we sat down in person with municipal leaders from across the territory. And for today's episode, we sit down and chat with Fort Smith Mayor Dana Fergusson. Across Canada, our cities, towns, villages, and rural communities are alive with stories waiting to be told. Stories of innovation and economic development, resilience in the face of the housing challenges, and the financial hurdles municipalities overcome every day. At the Cross Border Network, we bring these stories to life. From coast to coast to coast, we're connecting Canadians to the issues shaping our communities and showcasing the people working tirelessly to make them thrive. With your support, we can expand our reach, amplify more voices, and shine a light on the challenges and triumphs of municipal life. For as little as $3.99 a month, you can help us grow and continue sharing the stories that matter most. Join us today and be part of this important mission. Together, we can tell more stories, build stronger communities, and make a real difference. Support the Cross Border Network now. Visit www.crossborderinterviews.ca today.
Mayor Fergusson, thank you so much for doing this. Greatly appreciate it. I want to start with a simple question.
Okay.
A very simple question.
Okay.
Where did your sense of duty to serve your community come from?
Oh, geez.
Very simple.
It's not that simple, actually. So to serve my community, I don't know. I've always just enjoyed giving back to my community and being part of organizations. I think way back in the day, I was a Girl Guide and then I was a Pathfinder. But then I fell off my path and I was like kind of a bad kid.
It's a weird thing to say after I was at a Pathfinder that I fell off my path.
I fell it up. So in high school, there was this pilot project to get teenagers involved in creation of a youth center in their home community. I'm from Williams Lake, originally Williams Lake, BC.
Yep, oh, quite well.
And I moved to Hay River in 1998 and then to Fort Smith. So part of that project was getting teenagers involved in advocacy and creation of like, what can you do to make a difference in your community and what does that look like? And that kind of went, oh, you mean my voice counts? What? Right on. Okay, what can I do? And it made a huge difference. And today, that organization that we created way back in I'm not going to tell you how far back, but it was way back, is still standing. And I actually called them the other day, said, hey, do you have any information on the founding information for this? They don't, because they don't go back that far, apparently. And but it was pretty cool to see that I've had to be given that opportunity to be able to make a change, see that, sticking with it has some impact, and then it lasts.
Was politics always in the cards?
I think so. I don't know.
Was mom and dad political?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Or businesses or anything like that. That really was it. Like just being told at a
So you're
young
the black
age.
sheep of the family.
Yeah, I know. Like, don't get us talking at the dinner table politics. Then everyone's like, no, just don't do it. But I think it was from that going, just being able to have an impact and be able to give change and be part of something that actually did something was it for me.
Now, you have to make some pretty tough choices around that council table.
Mm-hmm.
And you are one of the voices along with your council members, that you need a majority to make any decision pass. How do you make those decisions, those tough decisions? Because you impact the people's day-to-day lives. And I will hazard a guess, and I'm going to throw municipal politics under the bus here a little bit. People probably know you more than they know their MLA or their MP because you're the closest to them.
Yeah.
How do you make the tough choices?
I talk to people. I ask.
Are people engaged?
Yeah. I talk to people that I know. I get information. Like, so if we're making decisions, say taxes is always the big one. We just passed taxes that increased for our community. So what does that look like? So you ask for financial health. What does that look like? Sustainability. What does that look like? What is the bigger picture goals? What are our strategic planning goals? Like what makes up our community and makes it whole? And I mean, you can't just make a quick decision. You have to make sure that you, I don't know, really do your research, really do your homework. Trust the people in the room that know the things, like you.
Is it hard to do that? Because we all have our internal conflicts that we say, well, I think morally, I believe this is right, but you're telling me this is right. Who wins in that? Is it Dana or is it
well, they both, you mull it over. But what I really like about this kind of politics is that I like that not everyone has the same opinion. So I like when I look to my other counselor and they're giving me their feedback from a younger perspective, in the sense that, hey, I'm a young person. I've just bought a house. How am I going to afford this? Look at my life, the quality of life that I'm going to have. And then you have other folks on the other side who are seniors, like, well, this is what, how that impacts me over there. And then everyone else in between. And so I think that I like because it can't be just yours. You have to hear from all the groups that have the different opinions so that you can make an informed decision.
Want to turn to the community as a whole.
Okay.
And before I start asking this question, I want to just preface it, as I always do. This is a conversation between the mayor and myself, not a motion of council, not a direction of council, not policy of council, just her opinion. It may line just because I usually get emails saying, well, she doesn't speak on behalf, or that councilor doesn't speak because you're one vote.
Yeah.
But in your opinion, what do you see as the biggest challenge or challenges facing Fort Smith today as of recording this on March 1st, 2025?
One of the biggest challenges in our community is communication is a big one in our community.
Really?
Okay. Like, I think we do our best. I think we're doing good, but you could always do better with it. So what great things are we working on at the town? Communicate. What things do we need information on? Communicate. What's going on in general? Communicate, right? And that goes even with our government. Like, what programs are they taking out? Communicate it, right? And
as in like government, like Northwest Territories?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I have.
Just want to clarify that.
And I think that as a challenge for Fort Smith is, in that communication, we have to be advocating for us as a great place to come and go to live, to work, like change the perspective of perception of what people may think of your community. And it starts with us and how we project our community onto everybody.
So what is the perception of Fort Smith? Like, what is your perception of Fort Smith? Let's leave it at that.
Mine is like, it is a great place to live. Like, we have like one of the best scenic views, I would argue, in the north. We have rapids, 3 sets of rapids in our community that are class 5 that people can come and paddle. And they do. And sometimes they come to our community just to paddle that and go, geez, I fell in love.
I don't paddle, but I want to paddle now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's walking and it's accessible. You can just go there. We have huge trees, like, even still, we have huge trees coming into our community, lots of paths, trails, walkway. If you are a outdoors rec person, we are that place for you to come in and be like one outside. Really, and community organizations take advantage of all of those kinds of natural resources in our area and promote, just do their best with showcasing it as it is in our community and hosting events there.
One of the things that I do on the show is if you come on the show, I come to your community.
Oh.
So I'm going to come out to your community and hopefully we can continue this conversation.
You need to come.
I'm going to bring my camera and we're going to just showcase the best of Fort Smith.
You need to come. We have really 2 active months for festivals, and the first is now. You've already missed it. It's too late. It's March. It's amazing, and you're missing all the best winter, spring festivals that we have. But the other one is August, and August is our Fireweed Festival music. So it's a music festival, community music festival.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, you should have. We've got some big, not music guys, but name guys coming for in our car show and stuff. There's some spin-off, trade-off stuff going on there. And in that same time, there's Paddle Fest, Dark Sky Festival, the Whooping Crane Festival. There's not a weekend that goes through our summer that isn't a festival.
Oh, okay. So August, I'm marking on the calendar. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, you have a dog-friendly community because we have lots of dogs coming.
You bet you we do. You for sure.
I want to go back to the communication part because we got off on a tangent there.
Sorry,
that was my fault.
Okay.
I used to work in the municipal sector, and I know communication is probably one of the hardest things that municipalities have to deal with, because you can communicate on every single channel, newspaper, Facebook, television, radio, this, that, the other. There's always going to be people who say they didn't get it.
Yeah.
The municipality can only go so far. You can only do so much. The residents have to go a little bit as well. How do you see yourself as mayor in getting the message out, but knowing that not 100% of the people are going to listen to that message?
Well, I know. I just, do at the grocery store, you're talking to people, you're saying, hey, did you see that? Did you pick up the newsletter? Did you go to our website? You just got to give the direction. Like, it's out there. If you want it, it's there, right? And just being able to articulate to whoever's asking me that I have the answers to give them. And if I don't, I'll be like, all right, I don't have that. I'm definitely going to follow up with you, and because I know where you are, Joe. I'm going to come and have coffee or whatever it is, and we'll talk about it at the coffee shop.
How often does it take you? How long does it take you to get a carton of milk these days?
It's long. So even before this, I've always been a big community person. So I've been in huge volunteer in lots of organizations. So it was always like, hey, what's going on? Or, talking about the next thing. Now it's even longer, and my kids won't even come to the store with me, and I have to go by myself. And now I don't have bag packers to help me get the groceries into the house, and it's frustrating.
Life of a mayor mom.
Yeah. Man.
I want to flip the original question. You talked about it a little bit already, but you talked about the challenges of communication. What's the accomplishments of your community that you are proud of, that you look at, you say, you know what, we do have our challenges, and everyone does, but this is what we've got going right?
Oh, man. So we are the best, arguably, from that. When we're in trouble, when you're in crisis, when you need some help, it doesn't even matter if your neighbor hates you, that neighbor's helping you. And everyone comes together the best, always. In any type of thing. It doesn't matter what it is. They'll come and support you. They'll hate you afterwards and go back to, whatever it was before. But in that moment and in whatever we're going through, 100% support.
So where does that come from?
We're unified there. It's a community. And so,
because you guys are kind of,
we're off.
I don't want to say off to the distance.
We're not. We're like
but you're at the end of a road.
But not just the end of the road. We're at the most southern point of the Northwest Territories. So it's really hard sometimes. We feel forgotten a little bit. We're off over there because we don't have the impacts of waterways that the folks all along the river have. We're on the same waterways, but in a different way. And so we kind of get left out of some of those conversations, rightfully so, because it doesn't have the same general impact on us. But we are still a northern community, very rich in our culture, we have very strong Indigenous organizations. We are connected, and probably by relation to lots of folks all through the Northwest Territories. So, and lots of people come to us for the schooling, right? And so then folks stay, and then it becomes even a more mixed group bunch.
Now, I wasn't going to talk about the federal politics scene, but I said the forgotten part. We have a gentleman who is possibly going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada, who was born and raised in your community for 6 years before moving to Edmonton. Yeah. So you're not going to be forgotten.
I hope not. We're going to leverage that. We're like, what can we invite him to? So it's good for him, good for us. What will that look like? I think that's great. Even though he was only there till he was 6 years old, you kind of that's our guy. We own him. He's part of us now. He's a Fort Smither. But
hey, if Hannah Alberta can go all in on Nickelback, then I think you go all in.
Sure. I don't know. Hopefully he'll. I think maybe he'll come and be more representative of all of the North, right? Because he's, kind of has that connection.
I want to turn to my last subject, and it's tourism. You talked about the 3 waterfalls.
Yeah.
What are the hidden gems?
Not waterfalls, rapids.
Rapids. What are the hidden gems of your community that people need to see when they come? The restaurant that you just need to promote. And I'm going to play a little Sophie's Choice with you a little bit.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. So we have 3 sit-down really great restaurants in Fort Smith. So I can't say one is better than the other because all 3 are very different, right? So one sticks to Pizza Donaire, and they're arguably the best Pizza Donaire place. And people come to there, get it uncooked frozen pizza from Barrows, and then bring it home to Yellowknife with to cook later. Yeah, and then you have Anna's, and she's a open fire pizza kind of thing, but more natural.
Really?
I don't want to say open fire. It's like it's got a dome
It's
on
the
it.
brick coop.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
And so,
best way to cook pizza, in
and
my opinion.
and she has a lot of like more healthy, wholesome organic choices there. And then there's the Pelican. And if it's the best place to get Chinese food, of course, it's the only place, but it is the best place to get Chinese food there. And so,
Last question. What makes Fort Smith such a unique place to live, work, and raise a family?
I think it just like I think I've said it is the way we all come together as a community, and so I'm just enjoying the outdoors of it. Where you can get up in the morning and like ride your skidoo to school or work. You don't have to like hit the roads and avoid all these traffic stuff. You just go when you're there. I think it's the accessibility to just being outside on the land in nature. It's just right there at your doorstep.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Mayor Fergusson, thank you so much for sitting down and being on the show.
Perfect.
I look forward to coming up to Fort Smith and taking in some of the festivities in August.
Okay, right on. Thanks.
We want to thank our guests for joining us today and sitting down with us at the convention in Yellowknife from February 27th to March 1st at the Northwest Territories Association of Communities Convention. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Cross Border Interviews. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and gained some valuable insights. To stay in the loop with all of our latest episodes or catch up on past episodes, don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform, YouTube, or follow us on social media. For even more content and learn more about the stories and people we feature here on this show, visit us online at crossborderinterviews.ca. Your support means the world to us, so share this episode with your friends, your family, and even your community and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you back here for a new episode of Cross Border Interviews soon. Till then.